Speaking of black people, I think Graham Platner talks about it here. All right, here's the video. Graham Platner is a very interesting figure. He may win the primary for Maine. He is a Democratic candidate potentially, and the reason why he's interesting is this could show a very unique outlook on potential candidates that fall outside the typical Democratic norm. Um, Very similar to Zohran Mamdani, not in terms of his policies and his background, but how like different he is and how he appeals to voters. This guy is a populist. He's from the military, and he potentially, allegedly, definitely had a Nazi tattoo. So he had some things to say about black people. So I was curious about it. So let's watch it.
And I want to talk to you today about masculinity. It comes up on the campaign trail a lot. I think primarily because of how I sound and how I look and the kind of life that I live. A lot of people kind of think that I'm some sort of avatar that's going to be able to explain the current problem we have. Now, there's been a whole conversation over the past couple of years, especially in the Democratic Party, about how do we get back young men?
So this is a video he made to get back young men. Before we continue, by the way, we shouldn't make fun of Kid Rock for being a dumb redneck show for Trump. Who else could sing authentically about growing up in the rural woods of the inner city in Confederate Detroit? Farmers MAGA people vote against their interests. I don't get it either, Brandon. What the populist? A populist is someone who believes that the government is against the people. Populist is very pro people and pro policies that benefit the people. So
how do we
simple, I guess.
Re-engage with young
Appreciate
men
it, Heather.
Taken in by these stories and these myths, frankly, about what masculinity is supposed to be. Taken in by resentment and grievance. Taken in by this idea that they deserve something in this society and they're not getting it, and that they're supposed to blame women or they're supposed to blame.
I don't think he's a Nazi. I just know that he had a Nazi tattoo. He is pro-people. He is populist.
The media supposed to blame other people instead of telling them that it is that grievance, it is that alienation that is driving their feelings of insecurity and sadness. It is driving their loneliness. Able to
what
explain.
Is he talking about? Wait, hold on. I know what you're insinuating. I don't know if he's a Nazi necessarily. That's thought regarding hiring practice. Our government should support our citizens. There are millions of Indians here in the United States, and they've displaced American workers. Better talent overall. I've trained many of them. Oh, you're anti. I'm guessing you're anti H-1B visa workers. I have a whole thought process on like tech and how people should be incorporated into the workforce. This is a different conversation. I'm not anti H-1B visa workers. We can use as much workers as we can, but we need to create a better kind of baseline of type of jobs that American citizens can get. That's a whole different conversation. We're not going to get into it right now. Media's not supposed to tell people what to think. I agree. Remember back when Kirk would take back young people? Yeah, thank God. I think it's based what I say. Fucking hate with my soul people who support Nazism. Facts. Awesome.
The current problem we have. Now, there's been a whole conversation over the past couple of years, especially in the Democratic Party, about how do we get back young men? How do we re-engage with young men who've been taken in by these stories and these myths, frankly, about what masculinity is supposed to be? Taken in by resentment.
Wesley, I don't know. I'll say this. I think he's going up against Janet Mills. It was like Graham Platner versus Janet Mills for a primary for the Democrats. I think people should vote for Janet Mills, not the guy with the Nazi tattoo, personally. So, yeah.
And grievance. Taken in by this idea that they deserve something crazy in the society and they're not getting it, and that they're supposed to blame women or some resentment and grievance. Taken in by this idea that they deserve something in this society and they're not getting it, and that they're supposed to blame women or they're supposed to blame the media, supposed to blame other people, instead of telling them that it is that grievance, it is that alienation that is driving their feelings of insecurity and sadness. It is driving their loneliness. There's all this talk about, do we need a left-wing Joe Rogan, or is some Democratic political consultant going to spend $50 million to come up with a...
To be fair, I do think there's something to be said to have like a powerful male figure for the left for men. I do think there's something to be said. I think Obama was a very good example of that. Joe Biden, not so much because he was so old. But in terms of like the popular figures, I mean, who do we have on the left, right? We got Hassan, who's like manly, strong, handsome. His ideas suck. We got Destiny, much skinnier, fucks too much, and not typical because he's bisexual. So he puts certain things in his mouth. No shade to Destiny, but it's just not the perfect example for the young men's. What other big left-wing figures we got? I guess David Pacman. He's a little bit more of a scrawnier guy. Brian Tyler Cohen. So the individuals he's referring to are like men, like manly men that log workers, wrestlers, love to fight. So probably a better role model who's intelligent, who speaks well, and who likes the man stuff. I like the man stuff. I'm a fan of wrestling. I love sports. I work out. I'm trying to get as shredded as possible. And I like to, talk the shit. So probably need a little bit more of that type of representation on the left. So it's an interesting conversation to have for sure. One sub if you say go. Fuck no. I'll never say go Patriots in my life. Go Seahawks. I hope you lose. Work in tech. I'm not anti H1B. Okay, that's good. L1, etc. It's overused and abused. It should not affect citizens' opportunities to the degree that it doesn't, though. Statistically, H1B does not affect it to a large degree. So statistically, it doesn't. I think statistically, H1B workers actually create more jobs from Americans than it takes away. Statistically. So it doesn't. I'm there with you. I think there's an interesting conversation to have, Sabby, in terms of like creating more tech jobs for people. For sure. I'm there with you. I am an advocate for that. But yeah, don't vote for the real Nazi in 2026. Who, Trump? MAGA? Snark is my superpower. Hey, you're cooking. The Rock for president. The Rock for president, bro. Shout out The Rock. Current Elia. The media is no longer held accountable for accurate information. A bill was passed by Obama to hold media harmless for misinformation. They're funded by the left and have taken to extreme to spread propaganda. The right spreads more propaganda to the left. What are you talking about, Savvy? What are we doing here? Oh, my goodness. Hold media companies harmless for misinformation. It was passed by Obama to hold media companies harmless. What's that a bill? Drop a source for that. I'm interested to look into it. Drop a source for that. No, the dude, the Nazi tattoo. Oh, yeah. Him. Hey, I'm not calling him a Nazi. He just had a tattoo.
Media plan on how to approach young men. And honestly, it
definitely happens, but if we're talking
it's utter nonsense.
Then, yeah.
What we need to do is we need to re-engage with the idea that masculinity is based around support. Masculinity is based around protecting those who are weaker, protecting those who aren't as lucky, protecting those who don't have the same privilege in this society that many men like me do. We can't just talk about it, though. We have to model it. And we also have to show a politics that is willing to both forgive, but also that is requiring accountability. You can't just go through life being awful to other people and then one day just perform that you feel bad about it and move on. There needs to be some form of accountability. But we also need to be very open to the idea that as we watch people become accountable publicly, have to talk about things that they've said or done, that after that, we need to be open and compassionate and empathetic to welcome them with open arms into a society in which we are not trying to all be split and divided, but a society in which we support and love each other. I know this kind of sounds like wishy-washy hippie talk, but it's not. This is how we build a world that builds everyone up. This is how we build a system that gives every American the chance to live to their fullest potential. We don't have that right now. One of the reasons people feel so lonely and alienated, they live lives that are defined by struggle and work. They don't have time. They spend all this time in front of screens. And often it's because it's just at the end of the day when you're exhausted and all you.
Okay, so yeah, definitely a lot of hippie talk in terms of leading with compassion and forgiveness. Although I generally agree with that, I do think there's something to be said to punish those who actually are bad actors. I do think there's a conversation there, but I probably agree to his sentiment generally. I guess. Remember, don't bring a gun to a protest. Port, you're cooking per usual. Where you going to start? I don't know where he's going to start. He does bring an interesting point on like people going to their screens after working long hours. There is something wrong with that type of system. If someone is working 8 hours a day, then comes home around 5 and is super tired, especially if they have a family, where at that point, where's the room for like joy and happiness? It's hard. Oh, this dude. Sorry, your crowd destroy anyone who doesn't support their views, but forgive their own for anything, like having a Nazi tattoo. Oh, yeah. I'll look for the bill, but I'm pass in a minute. It would be helpful not to type everything. When many of these Indian workers get FTE leadership roles, some of them hire their cousin, friend, sister, neighbors, etc. Like I said, Sabby, any system can be abused. I think you could definitely argue that this could be more efficient. But if all of those people are qualified, then regardless if they're friends or family, it doesn't really matter to the extent. But I do think there's something to be said to ensure that it's not abused, and we can always improve it. I'm always there for improvement, for sure. But I don't know what was my point. I don't know. I don't know what your point is when bringing this up. If you understand statistically, I think you understand statistically, it actually creates more jobs. I don't know. Maybe we're talking past each other. 8 hours is long days. Fuck yeah, boy. 8 hours. We should cut it to like 6.
Can do is lay in bed and stare at your phone. If we give people better support,
did not.
If we give people the ability to have jobs,
a lot of fringe abuse. It's
that
common.
Pay a living.
I'm I can't confirm that. I don't know. It's a different conversation.
Living wage. Jobs where hard work results in a good life. Because right now, a lot of people work really hard, but then they struggle. And it's in that struggle that you find the alienation. It's in that struggle that you find the loneliness.
I hate my life if I have 4 shifts.
We often decry the lack of community these days. Everybody agrees.
I agree. Hard work should pay off with like a good life. I agree to that. Now, hard work is a subjective term, but if you're working a full work week as well as possible and making whatever corporation this amount of money, you should be able to live a good enough life in your like isolated environment. Sid Munt Modernization Act of 2012. I'll look into that.
Community has fallen apart. We talk with so much nostalgia of this era where communities got together, neighbors knew each other, people had dinner together, went bowling together. There was an age where that existed, but often what's forgotten in that conversation is it exists.
The reason why I'm looking into that is not necessarily because I believe your interpretation, because I don't, but there is a ongoing conversation in terms of internet and accountability and media and accountability. Now, I know a lot of people on the right were always crying about social media not really adhering to what they say or whatever, especially during COVID. But if the policies that started affecting accountability started in 2012 from this act, then utilizing either the verbiage from this act or utilizing the rhetoric behind the act and reconstructing it to create either a different argument in terms of what accountability should look like is something that I do value. So I'll look into it. 10 to 12 hours, too much. 6-hour work days.
When we had unions, it existed when somebody with one good job could raise a whole family on one income in a household. That's an era in which you can spend time with your family. You can spend time with your community, and people don't feel so alienated and lonely. And today, a lot of young men and a lot of just people in general are taken in by the story that they need to impose their will on other people to feel good, that they need to take things from other people to get what they deserve, that there's a finite amount of time and resources and money and attention out there that you have to work against other people to get it. And it's not true. The society that we need to build, where community matters again, is a society in which people have time, in which people have the ability to, at the end of their...
You know what I hate? I hate these talking points, not necessarily because I disagree with it. I just think they mean nothing. We've been hearing this talking point for so long. We need more time. People work so hard. You used to be able to work as a one husband and afford everything for your family. We've heard this for so long. There's some validity, and then there's some kind of over exaggeration, hyperbole, or kind of this nostalgia of how society was back in the day. Regardless of what you fucking think about this, the point is, what are you gonna do about it? I'm tired of hearing the same shit over and over again. How are you going to fix it? What are you going to do? How are you going to instill these values? Tell me. Tell me the substance. Tell me all the nice filling in that pie. I agree, Poor. It's empty wordsmithing. Like, tell me what you plan to do. 12-hour days are normal. You know, I'm going to do this. 12-hour days are normal. How do I get to be a masculine figure in my home when I'm always working? The person speaking on a masculine figure in my home doesn't know what a shift is. Oh, hey, your shifts are crazy. I'm 6-hour shifts. That's what I advocate for. Put a number to it. Inflation is a tax and the burdens on the working class. Definitely.
The workday still have the energy and the time to go out and meet their neighbors, join a group, create art, do theater, have a hobby, join a running group, join a hiking group, join any kind of group. But right now, people can't do it and they feel alienated because of it. And we need to be very clear about where that alienation comes from, because it isn't moral. And in many ways, it isn't even cultural. It's economic. It's an economic structure that does not give us time to connect with each other. And from that comes resentment. And we need to rebuild a society in which we support each other and give each other time. And that is only going to come in a society where healthcare is taken care of, where housing is treated as a human right, and where hard work means that you can live a good life and that you get the full benefits and the full value of the labor and the work that you do. But until we build that society, people will continue to be alienated. And so I say to a lot of the Democrats out there, the more establishment people who for years have been trying to figure out how do we reconnect with men, I'll tell you, I think the answer's in union halls. I think the answer's in solidarity.
I mean, Democrats are already pro-union. Solidarity, what does that mean necessarily? That's just like, what? He's definitely a PE teacher. I appreciate discussing these topics with you. I'm going to go to work on my truck. I prefer older vehicles that have all the electronics that break every other day. I hear you. I'm definitely getting a self-driving car if I get rich enough, Sabi. I'm sorry. I hear you, though. But, like, come on. Now all the tariffs are making it hard, but come on, it could drive by itself.
I think the answer is in an economic system that gives people time to be with each other. That's the answer to loneliness.
What is that economic system? That's what I'm asking.
And that's the answer to frustration and aggression.
Oh my god, this is nothing. Mamdani was so much better than this guy. Mamdani actually gave like plans. Regardless if you agreed with what Mamdani said or not, and apparently a lot of people are liking what he's doing right now, at least he had something of substance to say. This guy was just saying like general things that every freaking like person says. What are some people saying in the comments? Agree without even trying. The more I investigated and shed conservative ideas and move left, the more secure I felt in my masculinity. Fair enough. Maybe I'm hating. Maybe he is a good role model for people, I guess. Islam wants to destroy Christianity, outlaw Islam, and destroy all mosques, and deport all of Islam. Why are we attacking Islam? That stray was crazy out of nowhere. That stray was crazy. I like luxury and conscious, but don't want to pay for a subscription to use features and pay $1,000 for a screen. There is some subscription. Like my car is a subscription for like its radio surface, so I guarantee that some of these electrical vehicles have one too. So you're probably right there. And then $1,000 for a screen. Yeah, that's crazy. Like getting the parts, I definitely agree with you that it's more than likely very expensive. I understand what you're saying. Esteem Files got the world on tilt at the moment. Oh, for sure. A lot of weird allegations for some very powerful people in there. Economics that gives people time to be with each other. Heck yes, we don't live to work. I mean, working is important. If you weren't working, I want us to all be clear. If we didn't have a structure where work creates opportunity and creates money and creates a system of peace, bliss, and luxury, you would be living your life to survive. So be considerate. Acknowledge that you don't live every day to find your own food, find your own water, and battle against the environment. Some people get it twisted in terms of like what work is. Work is a substitute for living every day trying to survive. Off topic, Melania is on pace to lose about $50 million. Oh, wow. It's like $20 for each time Donald Trump's name. Yo, Poor has these shots, bro. Poor. You're the MVP. No, Heather's MVP. We love Heather over here. We love Heather, but Poor, you're funny as fuck. It would be called slavery. Work? No, work is not slavery. Or just something I talk about a lot in terms of the value of work. Hey, man, here you go. Work is important. Love this format. I'm a young man, been 20. Nothing makes me feel more secure and proud to be American than you. Hey, maybe he's doing something right. If he's inspiring the young males, maybe I should kind of like respect it. I'll take second, Heather. Yeah, Heather got number one, Poor. Heather got number one. Alex Pretty is an icon of masculinity. Very based. I love this topic. Masculinity does not mean cruel, overbearing, women hating. I agree with this. Like some of the things I agree with. Maybe I'm so black-pilled because I hear it all the time and it's so empty. Like Andrew Tate would probably say some bullshit like this, but then preach about, and then also just like sex traffic underage girls. So it's like, I just don't know how genuine these words are, but generally I agree that the idea of masculinity should be something like a protection. It should be being a leader. Like these are very important components to teach men to be like powerful. I'm there with you. Someone said we need 6-hour work days with a living wage. I'm there with you. I'm there with you. Okay.